One.
Hi everyone, my name is Kelly Gray and I am part of the Silver Fern team, and I thought it was about time that we sit down and corner Charity here and since she's such a big part of Silver Fern and has such an amazing story, and I think a lot of people have heard little snippets of it, I just think we need to get it all out. And
Well, good. I'm glad you did, because we don't.
I've heard it so many times,
Right.
but I want everyone to hear it.
Yeah, we talk a lot, but yeah. Well, I'm glad for a chance to just kind of sit down and, it's funny. Like, my story is just my story. It doesn't seem anything special, but it's what kind of got me sitting here and kind of part of Silver Fern. So when people ask me like, where did it begin? I think for me, like, Silver Fern for me didn't start there. It started when I was 13, in a sense, right? And so for me, I mean, you and I have talked about this before, but when I was 13, I wanted to be skinny. Like, that was it. Like, there wasn't really much more that I wanted. I mean, I had aspirations for my life, but my number one focus was on my body. Mm-hmm. And
for so many of us, it's that way.
Yeah. It's a natural thing for so many women. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know that back then, right? I thought I was the only one that was like, I would have done anything to be skinny. I mean, I tried skinny gum, skinny diets. I remember going to the grocery store with my mom and I was like, I'm gonna buy these grapes just for me. There were 6 kids in my family, so I'm like, these are just for me. And I think in my mind I was just gonna eat grapes the whole week, and like somehow, I don't know, like somehow that was gonna make me skinny. And so that kind of continued for a long time, that mentality. I was involved with school, I had a great family life, I had great high school life. I mean, life was great, but that was always kind of in the back of my mind. Like, I'm kind of a curvy body, and I was like, I was not really comfortable in my skin. Anyway, I left home when I was 18, and I grew up in Canada. My mom's German, my dad's Canadian. They met in India. That's a story for another day. So I came to Utah to go to university, and it was the first time I was really away from home. It was the first time living in the United States, and I lived in the dorms. And sure enough, I put on the freshman 15 like faster than anybody else, because there was all this food that we didn't have in our house growing up, like, and the freedom, right, the rebellion. So I wasn't getting closer to my goals. I think I was maybe getting a little further away from my goals, which was fine. You've got to kind of figure out who you are. So then probably the best thing that's ever happened to me was I fell in love with my American boyfriend. And when you marry an American, this is where you end up. So we're actually coming to you from Utah. I've lived here longer than I've lived in Canada now, which is kind of interesting. So that's kind of where my journey began. And nutrition came like so much later. My degree's in accounting, accounting of all things, which was a great degree for me at the time. And family was really important to me. So my husband and I talked, and we thought, we were young, we married young, and we wanted to start our family young. And looking back, I'm so glad that we did. So I had baby. That was my life. And she's got a baby coming. She's starting. So yeah, that's kind of where it began. And that desire to be thin never really went away, like, for a long time. And you watch, you'll have this baby, and then you'll be like, it's a hard part. You give up your body, and then you want to get it back. And but then I just kind of became busy raising my kids. And it was 10 years ago. It was 2008. I remember vividly. I'm a pretty spiritual person. I mean, you and I have talked about this. So prayer is a part of my regular life. My relationship with God, or the higher power, whatever, I'll say God, is pretty strong. And I remember vividly thinking, okay, if you'll just show me how to be skinny, I promise I will take it to the world. Like, I promise I will. And I remember hearing a voice. I know that's going to sound a little crazy. I don't know if that sounds crazy to you, but like, I remember hearing a voice. It was like, Charity, when you're ready to be healthy and not just skinny, like, I'll teach you. And I was ready. Like, I was ready. I mean, it's a hard balance, right? Because I think sometimes we go back and forth. Like, at least I do. And I spent the next, 3 years delving into nutrition and disease. Like, it was just kind of this, it just kind of came, like, I couldn't get enough. I was studying I mean, my nightstand was overflowing with books about how disease.
Which it still is. It's still overflowing with books.
Yes.
If you see her nightstand in her bedroom.
I'm an avid reader. And the more I was reading, the more I was learning. I was shocked that what we put into our bodies affects our bodies. I mean, rocket science, right? Like, it doesn't sound like, it seems silly, but at the time I was like, oh my gosh, like what we eat affects our bodies. So I was diligent in studying. And then the more that I learned, the more that I wanted to share. That's kind of my personality. Like, you know me, like anytime there's something, I'm like, oh my gosh, you've got to read this. Oh my gosh, you've got to try this or whatever.
I love it.
So I felt like I needed to share. Anyway, so fast forward a little bit, I became certified as a nutritionist. I started teaching classes. I became trained as what's called a Food for Life instructor. And I started teaching predominantly, my favorite was cancer prevention through nutrition cooking classes. So I'd go all over, I was doing corporate lunch and learns, and I was really, really passionate about what I was doing. And people would come to my classes and they would say, so Charity, like what got you started? And Kelly, my answer was, it's in my soul. Like that was the only explanation that I had, was like, it's in my soul. I don't know. And so I would say to them, like, I don't know, it's just a part of me. So I was doing that for years. And then I decided to take it a step further, and I decided to go back to school. Like, my kids were a little bit older, I craved learning, so I decided to go to graduate school and went through all of that process. Since my degree was in accounting, I didn't have a lot of the background, you know, I didn't have organic chemistry, I didn't have nutrition, I didn't have biochemistry. I mean, I've been studying these things, so I spent a year getting ready for graduate school, applying to graduate schools, and then I got into like the most amazing Tufts universities where I got my master's degree. But we had a big stumbling block that kind of came, and should I go into that?
Why don't you tell it all?
Okay. It's weird because you know all this, but so yeah, this was my life. We had a great, happy family, my amazing husband, my 4 kids, and on August 17th, 2015, my husband came home from a colonoscopy and said, I've got cancer. Like, and it still brings up emotion. Like, just even, I think being in the house too, like it was like right in that room, and he's like, I've got cancer. And everything you see in the movies, like it felt real. Like your world stops. You can't think straight. You like I shut down. I couldn't emotionally comprehend what he was saying. But yet there was this like tiny part of me that felt like it was for him.
You were doing all of this because of
yeah, like that I was prepared. Like in a way you don't want to be prepared. Like you pretend you don't want to be prepared for something that is that hard. But you're grateful that you were, right? And so we ended up in the hospital 2 days later. He had an emergency surgery, and that's when they said it's already spread to his lungs and it's already spread to his liver. I can't believe how much emotion I have. So yeah, so that was part of our journey.
And at that point, were you still wanting to move forward and learn a bunch of things, or did you just want to stop everything you were doing?
That's such a good question. There was 2 parts of me. I wanted to stop my whole world and focus on him. And then there was another part of me that needed an outlet and wanted to study more and more and more. Like I wanted to learn everything that I could. And so we did both. I put my degree on hold for a year. I was just about to start school. So put it on hold for a year, and we went to Tijuana. That's what we did.
Yeah.
And that was a hard decision, like to figure out where to go. I always knew conventional treatment was available for him. The problem was when he was diagnosed, they said, okay, we want you to start chemo on Monday. It's gonna kill the cancer temporarily. The cancer's gonna come back. We'll do another round of chemo. The cancer's gonna come back. We'll do another round of chemo. If we're lucky, you'll get 3 rounds in about 18 months before he passes away. And like you hear that and you're like,
yeah, it's almost like, why even do it?
You're like, no.
Just let him.
Yeah, that's not, for me, I was like, no way, I don't know. So I had previously done a lot of studying about cancer. Like, isn't that crazy? Like, I'd done so much studying. So we decided to try the alternative route and go that way. And I'm glad that we did, although now we're doing the conventional treatment. I feel like what we did for a year, a little over a year, prepared him to better handle the conventional treatment that we're doing. And it's been 3 years, and like, knock on wood over there, he's doing good. It's been the hardest battle of my life and of his life, but it's taught us really valuable lessons. I mean, I could talk forever about the things you learn when life is hard and the perspective you learn. And then amidst all of this, I feel like my coping mechanism, a safe place for my brain to go, was learning. And so that's where I went. So I worked on my degree, and then obviously Silver Fern, right? That was a big part of something that I was trying to build at the same time. And I'm grateful. Like, I felt like it was this really cool place where I could, you know, leave my worries behind in a little bit and go to the office and brainstorm with the team and work on this and do, like, study this and try this and analyze this. And then for that bulk of time, like, I wasn't in fear. I don't know, does that make any sense?
Yeah, completely.
Yeah. So that's that was part of my story. That is part of my story. And that's, you know, I mean, you know, I've talked about this so much, my passion for fiber, my passion for nutrition. The more you study about colon cancer or different diseases, like, there's things that are completely out of our control. Like, I get that, the environmental stuff and, you know, where we live or whatever, glyphosate, something we've been talking about. Like, there's so much that we can't control. So at least control the things that we can control. So what you put in your body, and then the supplements that can help. And Silver Fern, like, it wasn't designed necessarily to be about supplements, but that's something, as I learned about gut health, I did my thesis on gut health and probiotics, and how your gut is, you know, if you're not feeling your best and you're not living your very best life, it could be lots of different factors, right? But for me, it's like, let's start with your gut. Let's start there and use that as a pathway to figuring out your best life. And so obviously probiotics and gut health and digestive enzymes and whole food vitamins and fiber and, like, all these things kind of evolved from my desire to have good products that I could trust. And, you know, I was listening to a podcast like a week ago, and the guy says, you know, all these supplement companies out there, they're just out there to make $1. And like, you know how we feel about that, but, like, that hurt my feelings. like
I'm not trying to do that. I don't want to make $1.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help people heal. Like, that's what
Right.
we want. We want to help people heal.
Exactly. I was like, that kind of hurts my feelings. Anyway, so that's really what it's about. It's like, I get everyday struggles, and I get that everybody has them, and this is my story, but I know that there's so many people that have their own struggles. You have your own struggles, right? Like, everybody has them. And here's what I do know, that having a healthy body helps you get through the struggles. Like, I can't imagine if I were sick and then needing to help Dan or whatever. Like, living our best life, I think, is achieved when we at least have a healthy body that can kind of carry us. And we've talked before, but, like, our goal is not, the end goal for me is not for people to have a healthy body. The end goal for me is for people to live their best life, right? To find purpose, to, I genuinely believe that part of happiness is relationships, and another part of happiness is just serving others, like looking beyond yourself and serving others. And we've talked about, you know, we want to find a way to give back, and we're still brainstorming. Maybe send us ideas of ways that we can kind of give back somehow as we build Silver Fern, that it's not just about building a brand, but, I don't know, somehow giving back to the community.
Yeah. So, I mean, for Silver Fern's future, what do you see it looking like?
I see it's so big.
I know we talked about this, but
yeah. You know, it's really interesting. Like, I'm a really driven person, but I can't always see 3 steps ahead. Like, my husband's dealing with cancer. Like, you sometimes don't get to see a week ahead, and it's hard. I'm a planner. Like, I plan out my day. I plan out everything. So in some ways, I want to plan 5 years in the future for Silver Fern, but in some ways, I plan through the next few months and look for signs and look for clues and look for, okay, what's going on? Like, what are we lacking? Like fiber, you know, Tino is an answer to something that we're lacking in our American diet. So right now, the future is good science, good products, and talking to people. Like I love to talk to people. I wish we could just
Connecting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Connecting with everyone.
Yeah. I wish we could just walk to a mall and we could just go talk to people, right? And be like,
I would
hey,
do that.
yeah, how are you feeling? You know, can we help in any way? You know, how's your gut microbiome? I'd be like, what? I'm like, try these probiotics. They will help. Yeah, I don't know. So part of it's baby steps, you know, building a company and just bringing the products that I believe in, that I want my husband to take, that I want my kids to take, that I want to take, that, you know, pass your test, our test, that we go, okay, are these good? Are they clean? And will they help? Right? At the end of the day, will they help? So, I don't know. That was a long story.
I feel like it's only half of it, though. I feel like there's so many more.
We're not going to bore everybody today, but we'll do more, you know, maybe I'll do more podcasts or, more sharing. In the end, it's about me, it's about you, it's about them. You know, it's about all of us finding a way to live our best self. And I don't know, this is crazy, but I feel like as a human race, we'll all be better, like when we're all living a little bit better. Like we're living our purpose a little bit higher. And when you're feeling crappy, like that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
So
you want everyone to live a vibrant life.
Yes.
She is on Instagram at A Vibrant Life if you want to reach out to her directly, and also on Silver Fern brand. Well, I'm normally behind that, but I mean, I can always say, hey, people are trying to talk to you, and send it her way.
Yeah. So reach out to us. I'd love to hear people's input on product or experiences with Silver Fern. That's one of the most rewarding things I think is when we get these amazing messages or emails from people that you know, we've had a little small role in improving their life.
Right. I love it. I love it when people reach out and, you know, give us their 2 cents on what they want to see happen and what they need help with. I mean, I just anything that we could do to help you heal and
we're there for you.
Have a better life. Yeah, live your best life is what we're all about. So
well, I'm glad we did this.
Me too.
Yeah.
Thanks for sitting down with us and sharing.
We'll post it somewhere where people can see it. Yeah.
Somewhere. Oh no, I'm gonna have to cut myself out. You
know
how I am.
We'll have to figure it out.
So well, thanks for watching. And if you guys want to connect with either of us, Silver Fern brand or A Vibrant Life.
Yeah. And the website, always you can reach out. silverfernbrand.com is a great way. You know, Facebook another way. So all right. Thanks. And cut. I was so worried halfway through that we weren't recording.
Really?
And we are.